Hello, everyone. My name is Simone Feast. I am a sophomore at Queen's University of Charlotte, and today I will be interviewing Tim Garretts. Tim is the Executive Vice President of GMB. GMB is a member of the American Sports Builders Association, which is a nonprofit trade association comprised of builders, designers, and suppliers for the sports facilities, and it exists to promote the highest standards of design, construction, and maintenance. Hello, Tim. How are you today?
Hello, how are you? I'm doing good.
Good. What initially drew you to this career path?
Yeah, so I think it kind of took a strange way. I ended up going to get a degree in landscape architecture and wasn't exactly sure what I was going to do with it. In the end, I found a firm that was a multidiscipline firm, meaning there's architects and engineers in the same firm. And for the most part, most of the work I was doing was in the educational realm. And because a lot of the sports that are done in America are done at the high school level, that's where I started to get introduced into athletics and building sports facilities.
If you don't mind me asking, were you into athletics as yourself, or you just love creating different facilities
Yes,
for athletics?
yeah. So it's kind of a combination where I would say I participated in athletics in high school, both soccer, tennis, and baseball. And it was helpful later on in my career to kind of have a passion, you might say, for building facilities after being exposed to that when I was younger.
Wow, thank you. Can you describe what a typical workday entails?
Yeah, so I think the beginning of a career looks a little different than the last half or the last 25 years of your career. So the beginning of your career is a lot of learning. By learning, you're learning how things are built. And by learning how they're built, you have to learn how to document that information in the architectural world so that a contractor can look at those documents and actually build them. So a lot of learning, and that comes from two areas mostly: fellow teammates that you're working alongside of that maybe have a few more years of experience that can help you through the process. And then also, I think what was helpful for me was working with trusted contractors that I could ask them questions and know the real answer of how something might actually be built or how materials might interface with each other. As you grow in your career, that kind of shifts to project management, client engagement, business development, maybe teaching others, like I had mentioned earlier, or just having expertise in an area that you've spent a lot of time or had a lot of passion in, and can share that maybe across, the region or with others at ASBA, for example.
Thank you so much. Can you describe your first few years in this career? I know you touched a little bit on that in the previous question, but can you go into more detail of your specific experience?
Yeah, so for my specific experience, I would say I spent a lot more time documenting information where you're drawing or trying to show an idea to a client. So you're drawing a lot of what we call site plans, details for documentation, so that those documents can then be sent out to contractors to receive bids. That after a while you start to learn how your details are good or how your details might need some work, and contractors usually will help you through that, some in a nice way, and sometimes they're a little harder on you, but that's the way you kind of learn, is by experiencing it and then having those mentors alongside you and helping you grow.
Thank you so much. What high school courses or college courses have you found to be the most applicable / important for your occupation?
Yeah, so maybe start with the high school. For me, I would say math, anything in the mathematics, art or graphic art was helpful. And then, like we had mentioned earlier, involvement in sports. That was helpful for me to gain a context of, maybe what was important to each sport, and being able to, talk with coaches, talk with athletic directors, et cetera, to be able to produce a product that was acceptable to them. So college curriculum is a little different in that a lot of that's fairly set, but there are always opportunities within curriculum, sometimes for electives, and sometimes those electives can help guide you as to maybe what your specialty might be within that area. So 2 to 3 pathways we often see in the fellow membership of professionals within the ASBA. One is landscape architecture, and that's what I have. I have a degree in landscape architecture. And then the other would be, that we see the most, is civil engineering. And I'd say it's about 50-50 on how many of each we have in our association. The last would be architects. There are some architects that kind of find their way into the sport market and go from there. So within that, there's lots of nuances of what you might want to choose. But if you kind of want to go into the sport world, it's nice to know that in terms of choosing those electives specifically.
Thank you so much. And this question was kind of a two-part question. So the second question to the question I just asked you was, what courses do you wish you could have taken either in high school or college?
Yeah, I think looking back, I don't think anything other than those math and art related classes. I think it would have been helpful to maybe take some more things in college that could have been more technical in nature in the engineering side, in terms of some of those classes I could have added. But at that time, I didn't know exactly where I was headed, and maybe more importantly, what I needed to know. So.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
What part-time jobs, apprenticeships / internships, or extracurricular activities would best prepare you for this occupation?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think there's probably 2 sides to that, and both of them I've kind of experienced. One is the standard kind of internships that a student might be looking to get, and that's with another firm that hopefully is kind of focused in the area they might be interested in. That gives you a whole lot of experience as to what that first job is going to look like, gets you experience usually with software, gets you experience with the type of work that a typical landscape architect or civil engineer or architect would do. The second one that I would probably encourage people, even probably before that, would be to work for a contractor. By working for a contractor or a builder, you really get exposed to knowing how things actually get put together. And that exposure gives you not only that part, but it also allows you to understand the nuance of construction and how to communicate on a project site. It gives you some relevance to understanding, the difficulties and the challenges. And sometimes if you haven't had any experience, I think sometimes it's easy to stay in the office and not get some of those answers that you probably would be able to get by having a better experience. So I think it's both, and any experience is good. Customer service is also good. If you get a job that has that interaction, it helps with working with clients, maybe difficult situations, etc.
Wow. So it sounds like someone who is interested in this occupation can get a multiple, range of internships.
Yeah.
So my follow-up question to you is, what time do you think is best to start looking for internships within this career?
If you I think in the contractor world, I'd say as soon as you're able to, high school, college, they're looking for people to help. And so I would say for that, definitely, as soon as maybe your sophomore year, to try to find an internship that's with an architectural firm. At that point, you've had some exposure usually to software, and you're usually able to help. And by your junior year, it'd be great to be able to have an internship, maybe have 1 or 2 years, depending on which program you're in, of exposure. Definitely will help you out with your studies. We find a lot of times the students that we have in our internship program excel in those last couple of years because of the exposure they've had in an office setting.
Well, thank you so much. What are the benefits of being a member of ASBA?
I think the biggest benefit that I would say is even if you've been doing this a long time, there's always something you can learn. And I think what's really awesome about ASBA is you have manufacturers that will help you learn more about their products. You have designers and other professionals that can share what they've learned in the field, or things that we can kind of cooperate and understand. And then we also get exposed to a lot of the associations directly related with the sports. And they can help us understand what's new, what's on the horizon, rule changes, etc. So it's really helpful for our profession to kind of get together and share. So
Thank you. Can you tell me about networking or educational opportunities offered by the ASBA?
yeah, so I think networking is something that's unique to ASBA that I don't experience in other associations. And I think it kind of sets itself out a little bit in that information is shared freely amongst all of the people in this association. And that's not always the case with other associations. And so I think it's a genuine helpfulness of trying to make our industry better, and everybody having kind of that common goal of helping each other. And then I think the thing that sticks out again is that education component. The technical meetings that we have each year are really set up so that somebody that's been in this industry a long time, or somebody that's pretty new, can grab that information and learn more, ask questions freely, and kind of cooperate with each other to make what we do even better for the athletes that use our facilities.
Thank you so much. What do you find most surprising about this career?
I think something that's after almost 30 years of being in this, what was acceptable for athletics 30 years ago and what it is now is totally different. The bar has been raised so much that things that we used to see only at the college level have really come way down into the high school level. And the expectations for quality and safety are really high, all the way down into youth sports. And so it's interesting to kind of watch the development, the money spent, the quality, whether it's the products or the design, or the quantity even of what we're putting in for athletic fields. So I would say that's probably the thing that sticks out the most for me.
Okay, thank you. Is there anything else you would like to add or would think that will help someone considering this occupation?
I would say following your passion. If you're really into athletics and you have a creative or technical bent to your who you are as a person, this might be the right career path. But always kind of follow that passion, and exposing yourself to unique opportunities to talk to people. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there a little bit and say, hey, tell me a little bit about what you do and why you like it. And don't be afraid to ask to shadow somebody for a day. It might be a great opportunity for you to say, wow, this is the best thing ever, or it might lead you in another direction. What you find is people in this profession are very helpful, and they're going to want to help you, find your career path and find a job that you love.
Thank you. And I think this all goes back to like networking too, and the importance of it, because you never know who's going to help you in the future. So I love that piece of advice. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yes. And thank you so much, Tim, for interviewing with me today. And thank you for joining us, you all. And I hope you will learn more about ASBA by visiting our website, and that is ASBA Q Career page. Until next time, have a great week. Goodbye.